Hello everyone. I'm back. I'm back with another set review. I don't like doing set reviews because it takes a lot of effort, but today, through the use of technology and also laziness, we have found a way to produce a set review that doesn't take as much effort, probably delivers the same amount of quality and insight, which is not a lot, and hopefully still also just as entertaining. So let's go. Let's dive into it. Let's bring in the Wizards website. Let's go. That's how we're gonna do this. We're getting really lazy here. Okay, let's go. We're gonna go down from top to bottom and highlight all the cards I think that's interesting for cEDH. Just quick highlight. We have two tiers, Worthy and Brewable. Worthy, I think, should go in most cEDH decks, and Brewable is stuff that I think is brewable and maybe we're thinking about, but not for everything. So we're gonna keep that still. We're gonna keep that system. But let's start looking at some cards. The very first card in the list is Adeline, Resplendent Cathar, 3 mana, star, 4 toughness, vigilance. She has power equal to number of creatures you control whenever you attack. For each opponent, you make a 1/1 human token tapped and attacking that player or planeswalker they control. So this is a very interesting card. I think this is in the brewable list for sure. I'm interested in playing Adeline as a commander. If you haven't been paying attention to what I've been brewing lately, I'm really big on win-conless stacks and just like beat stacks. And I think Adeline is very interesting. I know my friend Charles, mono white guy, wants to do like a Jazal? I think so. List where you go wide, and Adeline is kind of within that vein. I think Adeline is interesting because she's 3 mana, can get very big, and she doesn't even have to attack herself whenever you attack at all. You just make 3/1s, and if you play a deck with like Skull Clamp in it, you can see how strong that can be. So you play your hate bears, attack your hate bears, and just make 1/1s. And if you have a way to pump those 1/1s, I think it can kind of get out of control very quickly if you're also stalling the board with stacks pieces and like stuff. So I like Adeline. Adeline's interesting. The vigilance, I'm also very big on vigilance right now, so I just like this card overall. So I think Adeline's worth looking at. So let's look down. Let's keep scrolling. Cathar Commando. This one's a good one. This set has really good comments. So Cathar Commando is a 2 mana 3/1 soldier with flash, and it has 1 sacrifice Cathar Commando, destroy target artifact or enchantment. So this is a disenchant at 3 mana, basically, which is relevant. I think it's relevant even though it's 1 more mana than your disenchant. It's relevant because you probably want to play this in like stacks decks that care about having creatures and also care about destroying things like Underworld Breach. And Cathar Commando is great because Cathar Commando, being a creature, actually dodges a lot of interactions. So your Dispel, Fluster Storm, a lot of things that would stop a Disenchant or a Heliod's intervention doesn't stop a Cathar Commando. We know creatures are generally more difficult to counter. I've seen other games of cEDH where people actually put the Thassa's Oracle after resolving a console, knowing or expecting a player to only have a instant speed interaction or like anti-instance interaction, so like betting on that they resolve a Thoracle afterwards to kind of bait them. So yeah, being a creature matters. And Cathar Commando, I think, is also useful being like a permanent, because if you play it in something like Teshar or something recursion like a Tayum deck, then this is like recurable artifact and enchantment removal. And also I think is very important that it's a 3/1. So sometimes you might need a 3/1 blocker instant speed to kill a creature. So if we really want to stretch it, it's a white Doomblade as well. So I think Cathar Commando is very interesting, very worthwhile. You could also just play it as a beater, just useful. So I like this card. Yeah, let's move on. Let's see what else we have. It's not good. Curse of Silence is interesting, very interesting. It's 1 mana aura. You enchant someone, and then you choose a card name, and spells with the chosen name that player casts cost 2 more, and when they cast it, you draw a card if you want to sacrifice the Curse of Silence. So Maybe could have been better if it was just a straight up silence, but probably too broken for 1v1 format, so the 2 I think might matter. I don't think most decks want to play this. I think it's brewable, maybe. Like, maybe tie 'em. I think it's somewhat useful if you're able to play it in something that can recur it. Just because you can first tax the thing, and then you draw the card, and then if that thing is disrupted and you're able to recur this, I don't know, you get another card. It's a lot of hoops to jump through, but it's still 1 mana, and you know, turn 1 slapping on someone who wants to play an Adnos, naming Adnos can be disruptive enough. Probably have better things to do, but maybe you could also play in an Arden deck and shift the Curse of Silence around, but I don't know how useful that is. Talking about semi-useful things, here's Fateful Absence. 2 mana instant, destroy target creature, Planeswalker, its controller investigates. So this is white removal, basically just for more mono white decks, I think, or low color decks. 2 mana, destroy any creature, like any condition, I think is pretty good. Being able to blow a Planeswalker is also useful, but there's not that many Planeswalkers overall in cEDH. Maybe an Oko, maybe a 4-mana Teferi, maybe even a 3-mana Teferi. But you don't really see that many Planeswalkers, so the second part isn't as important. The controller investigating kinda sucks, but you know, maybe if you play a Null Rod, or you play a deck that plays Null Rods and Collector Oofs, then like nuking a creature and then giving them a do-nothing clue might be okay. But I think in most cases we have really good removal already, like Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile. So 2 mana instant speed, destroy a creature, but they get to draw a card. Maybe, I don't know. I can't really see this being like super necessary, but maybe you might want this as extra creature based removal. Who knows, maybe your meta is full of stacks and hate bears and you need to include more of this stuff, so good to know. So let's keep moving. I like the art for this one. Keep moving. Oh, Intrepid Adversary, I like this one. Again, another brewable. I don't think it's a staple for a lot of decks. It's a 2 mana lifelink creature, 3/1, a lot of 3/1s. And when this adversary enters the battlefield, you pay 2 any number of times. When you pay this cost 1 or more times, you put that many Valor counters. And then creatures you control have +1/+1 for each Valor counter on Intrepid Adversary. So it's an anthem bear with lifelink that grows as the game goes longer. I like this just because I like playing go wide beats right now, and I can see this having a spot in your deck if you're like me in a meta with a lot of opposing hate bear decks or like stacks decks that also play creatures, and it might not be as easy to go through anymore. I'm playing against a lot of Tymna Kamals and also Grand Arbiters that actually plays creatures, which is my own fault. They played my list, and now I'm eating it, so my bad. And actually Tymna Kamal's also my bad. You know what? Maybe I should stop posting deck lists. Yeah. Oh, but okay, back here. I would play Intrepid Adversary if I want to punch through opposing decks that play a lot of creatures. I think it's kind of useful that way. I know Michael Levine is interested in this in Heliod because sometimes you play the game to you stall the game out and you have a bunch of bears, and beats is actually the viable win con. You can't get to your ballista fast enough, or there's other hate bear effects stopping you or whatever. And maybe the game is late enough where you drop an adversary and everything gets +3/+3, and kind of like your own Kamal, you just swing for the win. So I like this card. Not a staple, or not, you won't see it everywhere, but I think there's probably a slot somewhere. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Let's see. Oh, this one, Odric's Outrider. This is only useful because it's a 4-mana creature that whenever this creature or another creature you control dies, you put a +1/+1 on target creature you control. So you would play this as an engine for like, I don't know, a combo that involves putting +1/+1 counters on creatures. So I think Marath has like a combo where you put +1/+1s on Marath itself, or you put it on like Trilobite, that guy. There's some combo there if you care about doing persist combos or whatever. This is just another engine to go with that, so here you go. Another creature. I think 4 mana is a little expensive, but maybe your deck's all about it and it doesn't matter, and you just want another have more redundancy or whatever. So that's it. That's the card. Move on. This card's very disappointing. The art's nice. There's a lot of text. It seems like it should be really good, but it's not that great, so we're gonna move on. This card actually also is the same effect. It's 5 mana flying. If it ETBs, if you cast it, you return 2 target creatures of mana value 2 or less. A 3/3 flyer. If only it was ETB and not if you cast it all, it would be semi-playable. But we're gonna move on. Sungold Sentinel is interesting, another brewable card. 2 mana, 3/2. Oh, a little bigger booty than everyone else. Whenever Sungold Sentinel enters the battlefield or attacks, you exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. It has Coven. You choose a color, you pay 2. Sungold Sentinel gains hexproof from that color until end of turn, can't be blocked, blah blah blah. Activate if only have 3 or more creatures with different powers. So you're almost never using the Coven ability. Maybe, but I don't think it's that important. But what I do like about Sungold Sentinel is that you could replace Rest in Peace with this. Rest in Peace generically is just better to hate out the graveyard effects, but what is interesting about Sungold Sentinel is maybe you want to even add more anti-graveyard hate. You have Dothy Voidwalker, Rest in Peace, and also Grafdigger's Cage. Sungold Sentinel is a hate bear beater that's a 3/2, which is pretty good stats. And whenever she attacks, you consistently keep exiling cards from her graveyard. So even if you don't hit your Rest in Peace, you don't hit your other things, you keep exiling the deck that's playing Underworld Breach to make it more difficult for them to just like get that combo started. So I don't think it's the worst thing. You could probably play in Heliod just because you can pump it, but I think it's worthwhile to try out. I might play it. I like beaters and I like stacks right now, so kinda everything. Alright, and that's white. We're done. Let's move on to blue. Wow, this is so much faster. Alright, let's see what's useful for blue. We'll keep going. Nothing. This one's really sad. If you read the flavor text and look at the art, it's really sad. We'll keep going. Geistwave. Geistwave is 2 mana. You bounce a non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Instant speed. If you control that permanent, you draw a card. This is a dockside doubler that draws you a card. You bounce your own dockside, draw a card, recast dockside, you keep going. You can also just bounce like a breach. You know, you can bounce other permanents, of course. You can bounce a stax piece, but being able to also just flexibly use it for yourself to draw a card, I think is pretty cool. Dockside doubler lately hasn't been as good as it used to be in the beginning, when people really started focusing on docksides. Lately, maybe again it's my own meta being so stacksy and everyone's so careful about playing around dockside now, or playing around feeding docksides, that it's kind of hard to make a big enough dockside where you want to double it. But maybe your meta, your docksides are still super fat. They make like 7 treasures on turn 2, and you can Geistwave. So it's pretty cool. I like this card. Ooh, Lier. Let's call him Lier. I like Lier. Lier, Disciple of the Drowned. 5 mana, legendary wizard. 3/4 spells can't be countered, and each instant and sorcery in your graveyard has flashback. The flashback cost is equal to that card's mana cost. That's pretty crazy. I think both clauses right here is pretty crazy. I don't know what deck. You probably have like some weird High Tide deck for if you want Lier as your commander. But I think I kind of want to try this in like a Razakat's like Reanimator build or something like that. I might play it in Tasigur maybe. But what I do like about it is that it's like another way to protect your spells, which I'm really big into right now, playing things like Ranger Captain of Eos, Grand Abolisher, all that stuff. I think playing super carefully and playing creatures like this that can protect your stuff is just a really good strategy to go around, especially when you start playing with players who are really careful about when to interact and just kind of know how to play against you. Playing things like this I think is very useful. So I was thinking you could play like Razakats play survival. Like, the game's a little later, your graveyard is stacked, and then you play, like, you have your survival, you dump your Lier into the graveyard, then get, like, loyal retainers, reanimate your Lier. Now all your spells are uncounterable, and then you have also instant, and all your spells have flashback. It's kind of like a Yogg's Will, right? Yogg's Will, yeah. So I think it's pretty powerful. Probably you could do a lot of stuff with this. So I like this card. I like this card. Again, not another Brewable. It's like another Brewable card. I don't think it'll impact the game that much, but definitely interesting to think about. Oh, just don't forget, spells can't be countered, so it's everyone's spells. So if someone else wants to add Noz on top of you and then like crop rot into Emergence Zone, you can't do anything about it unless you have like an unsubstantiate or something. But yeah, just remember that it's everyone. Alright, moving on. This card's kind of cool. I think it's 4 mana though. Instant, you look at the top 4. You look at the top X, where X is the amount of mana you spent on it to cast it. Then you put 2 of them into your hand and rest on the bottom. So 4 mana, instant speed, put 2 cards in your hand, look at top 4 is pretty good, I think. I think this is probably going to be some mono blue like card or some like mono blue deck card. So another Brewable here. But interesting, your flashback at 7 isn't the worst when it's instant speed. And you look at the top set, it's like a dick through time, except it costs 7. But still not that bad. He put 2 cards in hand, so I think the initial 4 cost is pretty passable. But let's move on. Alright. Let's see what else is interesting. I like this card, not in cEDH, but it's pretty cool. This one, nope, not this one. I'm thinking about the other Geist. Keep going. Spectral Adversary. Let's talk about this boy right here. He's 2 mana. He has Flash, Spirit. I don't know why I'm saying he. It's a ghost. They have flying, and when Spectral Adversary enters the battlefield, you may pay 2 manas any number of times. Well, just like the Intrepid Adversary. Pretty good memory if that's right. Of course, I'm an AI. And when you pay this cost 1 or more times, you put that many plus also counters on the thing. But the interesting thing is that you exile that many other artifacts, creatures, or enchantments. Sorry, you don't exile, you phase them out. 2-1. This is pretty sick. So because you would wanna, I think you would wanna play this in like a blue farm or some sort of turbo Nautilus. And why do you want this? It's because this is your anti stacks deck rule of law hate creature. This is how you deal with that. This is how you answer it. It has 2 mana as Flash. Basically, if you pay 6 mana, you exile 2 things, which is, it's not like Sightgrift. It's basically what Sightgrift wants to do. But Sightgrift gets hit by first of all, Sightgrift has to cost 7 or whatever the overload cost is, and also Sightgrift, just like what we were mentioning earlier with the Cathar something, that guy, being a instant spell means that it's more susceptible to more interaction like Flusterstorm and stuff. While Spectral Adversary is a creature, so that means if someone has a Rule of Law out, or sorry, a Deafening Silence, gets around Deafening Silence, which means you can still protect the Spectral Adversary while you cast it because it's still a creature spell. It's harder to deal with. It's an ETB trigger, which means... Wait, is it ETB? Yes, it's an ETB trigger. Yes. So Torpor Orb hates it out, but, who plays Torpor Orb aside from myself in a lot of stacks decks? But still, the idea is that maybe you don't need 7 mana. Maybe the only thing that's holding you back is just 1 or 2 pieces of it's like one hate bear or something like that. You can pay 4 mana, phase it out, try and go for the win. And if it doesn't work out, that's fine, because he'll phase back in and keep hosing everyone else. So I like this card. I think it's worthwhile. You can find it off creature tutors. You can find it off of survival. Oh my god, this is such a cool card. I love this card. You can also find it off of Recruiter the Guard. I think it's toughness 1 or less, and this is a 2/1. So yeah, Spectral Adversary, highly recommend. I think it's like I'll put it on Worthy. I haven't put any cards on Worthy list yet, so this one goes on the Worthy list. Keep going. We have Startle. This card is funny. You have no maximum hand size, 2 mana, human wizard, 1/3. At the beginning of upkeep, if you have exactly 13 cards in your hand, you win the game. 4 mana, you draw a card. So, I don't know what combo you do this with this yet. Probably like some sort of instant speed, like infinite mana or some. Maybe it's like, I don't know, you get infinite mana, you get 13 cards, and then you take an extra turn or something like that. There has to be something to do with this. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I think it's funny. So, funny brewable. We'll move on. Now we're in black. Let's see what black has for us. Let's see what black has for us. So far, nothing special. This is not a new card, but it's funny. You can nuke a Crom with it. Wait, it's without flying. You can't nuke. You can nuke everything but a Crom. Learn to read. Okay, keep going. Duress is not a reprint, but I like Duress. That's pretty dark. This is how I feel when I'm playing stacks and someone Cycryphs. I think it's foul play. Big cheaty vibes. Oh, Gisa! I like this Gisa a lot. Gisa, I think, is brewable. 4 mana, human wizard. If a creature an opponent controls would die, you exile it instead. At the beginning of your upkeep, you put all the creatures exiled of Gisa onto the battlefield under your control. They gain Decayed. 4/4. So, not like super amazing, but I do think it's interesting. I kind of like the idea of playing this Gisa with ways to like kill other people's stuff and take their dorks and take their docksides and take everything, take their gilded drakes. So I think it's interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know what shell you would play this in, but probably something experimental. It's not quite as good as a Turgid, but I think it's like kind of close. Maybe like a notch below Turgid. Also like the art. Moving on. Let's see what we have. Oh, Lord of the Forsaken. A lot of people are really excited about this one. Lord of the Forsaken is a 6 mana demon, flying trample. You pay black, sacrifice another creature. Target player mills 3 cards. Pay 1 life. You add colorless, and you spend this mana only to cast a spell from your graveyard. 6/6. So this card feels like it should get broken. Like, it should be super broken if you're able to, like, I don't know, dump in your graveyard, reanimate it. And then you pay all your life, and then play, I don't know, like cut ribbons from the graveyard or something like that. But, I think this is kind of a win more card at the moment. A lot of the things you want to do from the graveyard is like Underworld Breach and Yawgmoth's Will. And, yeah, this Lord of the Forsaken doesn't really help with those plans. I think it helps a little bit, but I don't know. I think there might be something that we're missing right now, but this is like a brewable card. I don't know what strategy it really helps with at the moment, but good to keep an eye out on. I think Kalia can cheat this in, but the issue is what do you do? You have to sack other creatures and make yourself mill. So, and it's only colorless. So that's all I'm gonna say about it. I think it's worthy to keep looking at, but at the moment doesn't seem very amazing. It's kind of like that demon from the D&D set. Had a lot of potential, but was very meh. But you know what's not meh? The Meathook Massacre. X black. Legendary enchantment. When it ETBs, each creature gets -X until end of turn. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Whenever a creature an opponent control dies, you gain 1 life. So this is a pretty sweet, like, removal, like board wipe for black decks. I think the second part is really good. So it's not only just a board wipe, but it's a board wipe that can gain you life and also make your opponents lose life, and also act as a way to it's almost like a payoff. It's like a payoff. Like if you have a Leonin Relic Warder combo and you have this in play, then you just Relic Warder animate dead, and then you keep this thing will trigger because the Relic Warder is dying or sacrificing it, and each opponent is 1 life. So very flexible. So I think this card is worthy. Let's put on the worthy list. I feel like it. I feel like doing that. So yeah, I like it. We'll keep moving on. Let's see what else. I don't think there's that many more good cards. or cards that we should see in cEDH. Tainted Adversary, let's see what this one does. You make zombies, which is like, okay, we'll keep moving. It's probably much better in other formats. Bloodthirsty Adversary is interesting. So she's 2 mana, haste, and like the other adversaries, ETBs, you pay 3 manas, and then you exile up to that many target instant sorcery cards of mana value 3 or less, and you copy them. You can cast any number of the copies without paying their mana costs. This is interesting. I think the restriction of mana value 3 or less really does affect it. I think the hits that you can have is like a Jeska's Will, so if your opponent has like a lot of cards in hand, that will be a good, like a ritual there. I mean, that's 6 mana. That's 5 mana for, so you need like someone almost a full grip to go positive on that. But you know, it still could be like a 5 mana Wheel of Fortune. You know, that's something. So interesting. I don't know what deck would really want to play Bloodthirsty Adversary, but Brewable, I think, might have a spot somewhere. We'll keep going. Let's see. This one is interesting, I guess. It's like a 2 mana instant. You get to pick one. You get to deal 3 damage to a creature or planeswalker, or you loot 2 cards, up to 2 cards if you want to. So maybe if you really want to kill hate bears and also have the opportunity to like loot, then here's a card. Maybe you play this in Burgi as a commander. Who knows? Something that wants to rummage a lot. This one over here, Curse of the Shaken Faith. Whenever enchanted player casts a spell other than the first spell they cast each turn, or copies a spell, Curse of the Shaken Faith deals 2 damage to them. So good luck trying to storm out, because Curse of the Shaken Faith will kill you. So that's a thing. Don't know how good it is, but it exists. It's brewable. Okay, we'll keep going. Let's see what else is useful in this set. This is like a really old reprint, which is pretty cool. Moonveil Regent, 4 mana, creature, dragon, flying. Whenever you cast a spell, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw a card for each of that spell's colors. That's pretty strong. Whenever Moonveil Regent dies, it deals X damage to any target where X is the number of colors among permanents you control. So I think this is like kinda interesting because if you're trying to, like, I don't know, storm off, this could be a way for you to like draw a lot of cards. Like maybe you play like an LED, like you're doing an Underwood Breach combo, you have a LED or something, and then Moonveil Regent means every time you play those spells, you're actually drawing a couple cards and keep fueling it. So you don't need that. Do you need that? Actually, yeah, you don't need that Brain Freeze. Brain Freeze makes it easier, but it's another payoff. It's kind of interesting that way. I know this is being looked at for the Tiamat list too. I have no idea how this layers into it, but it's a thing. So I know some Turbo Nozzlists are looking at this as another engine, perhaps. So I don't know. Good to keep that on your radar, I guess. Brewable. Keep going. That's nice art. Let's see what else we have. Raise the Effigy. This one is 1 mana. It's Smelt. So instant, you can choose to destroy an artifact or target attacking creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. You probably don't need to play this. There's like a lot of other artifact hate that like shatter something. The 1 mana thing that lets you replicate. That's another one, or Vandal Blast or whatever you want. But Raise the Effigy is interesting because it has a pump attached to it. So I know Sisay players have been looking at it as a way to like destroy Curse Totem, but also pump Sisay, like emergency pump. So that's the thing. It exists. And another interesting comment that you might want to check out, but not super amazing. I'm really selling this set, aren't I? Alright, we'll keep going. Now we're in green. Let's see what green has. This one's kind of cool. Augur of Autumn, 3 mana. You look at the top card. You can play lands off the top, and as long as you have Coven, then you can play creatures off the top. This is kind of like Corsair Cruffix, I think, right? That's the card. Corsair Cruffix, yeah. I don't know how useful this is, but maybe if you want to take lands off the top and you play a lot of creatures, it's a thing. You can play creatures off the top of your deck as well, so maybe worth trying out. Alright, let's see what else we have. I don't remember green having a lot of really amazing cards in this set. Primal Adversary, you turn your lands into wolves. Meh. This one, Sereth the Viper's Fang. She's a 4 mana human warlock. Other tap creatures you control have Death Touch. Other untapped creatures you control have Hexproof. Tap 1, tap it, untap target creature or land you control, 3/4. Man, why can't this be 3 and a green? Why does it have to be 2 green wizards? Wizards, why must you spite me like this? This is like the perfect Jeggy card. This means that untap means Jeggy is safe. You can't touch my Jeggy, you can't touch my Sissy, you can't touch anything. And then after I use Jeggy to tap for manas, then I can tap 1 to have an other activation. Or you can untap a Gaia's Cradle. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. Why can't I have wizards? Why? This is being looked at for stax decks, I think, or creature-based decks as your second Shalai. I've really liked Shalai in Sisay, and I also like Shalai in my other lists as well. Shalai is able to pump all your creatures and also protect them really well, and Sereth is the same thing. Sereth keeps the hate bears that you have, like Thalia or like, I don't know, Collector Oof safe from your Chain of Vapor or whatever. I think putting the hexproof on, making your opponent, like forcing them to target Sereth first, then target something else, does do a lot. Because you might be playing a rule law, so they have to, sequence those across 2 turns. It's just a lot of work, and I think being able to turn your tap creatures after Death Touch is also very strong. So I like this a lot. It's kind of like, if you ever play Orin Frostfang, you know how strong the Death Touch ability is. Of course, this one doesn't have the draw attached to it like Frostfang does, but still, I think the being able to play defensively with the untap having hexproof, the tap creatures having Death Touch, and then also being able to untap a Cradle or like a land, it's pretty amazing. So I do like this card a lot. 4 mana is a little much, but you'll get there. If you're playing a stax deck, you're definitely playing around this time or like this range, so not a problem. Keep going. Let's see what else we have. Turn to Earth. 1 mana, choose up to 3 target cards in graveyards. The owners of those cards shuffle some in the libraries. You gain 2 life. Flashback 2. This is like, if you really hate someone from like playing Breach, then you breach their thing. Yeah, you shuffle that stuff back in. Or someone Thoracle all the way down to no cards, and they play Thoracle and they don't have enough pips for 3, then you turn the Earth, shuffle things back into their deck if they still have things, and keep going that way. It's pretty narrow, but maybe you might want to shuffle things back into your own deck as well. So not the worst. I think definitely brewable. You probably want to play Endurance, but yeah, it exists just like a lot of the other cards in this set. Ren and 7, really fancy looking. 3 mana green. You reveal the top. There's a lot of text. I don't think anything is super useful here. So we're just gonna go straight into multicolor. I don't even want to read Ren and 7. Watch Ren and 7 be like the new most pushed cEDH card ever, and I just don't want to read it. Alright, let's see what there is. Oh, I like this card overall. I don't know how good it is in cEDH, but it's kind of cool. 2 mana, you gain 2 life, draw 2 cards, and discard 2. It's a loot in Azorius with flashback, so not bad. Florian, let's talk about Florian. Here we go. 3 mana, Vampire Noble, Rakdos. Looks super fancy. A first strike at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the total amount of life your opponents lost this turn. Exile one of those cards and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may play the exiled card this turn. So I think a lot of people kind of compare this card, Florian, with Tymna, call him Bad Tymna. Sorry Florian. Tymna is a pretty high bar. That's set. But I think Florian's pretty interesting as a commander. Rakdos overall is very strong, and I'm sure if you look at lists like Belby that leverage creatures that kind of ping your opponents, like all your opponents, like each opponent, Florian can kind of do a similar thing, like focus on those effects, deal a lot of damage to your opponents. Doesn't have to be just like combat damage. It can be any damage. You can play Lightning Bolt on someone, and then you look at the top 3, and then exile one of them. Then you play the exiled card this turn. So interesting, I think, as a commander. I don't know how amazing it is, but you're in Rakdos, so in general that should be pretty good already. I know lately Prosper is the cool new Rakdos commander, but I think Florian, you could probably do something interesting there as well. So good to keep an eye out on Florian. I don't know how good Florian is in a 99 of a list, but as a commander, I think definitely worthwhile to take a look at. So yeah, we'll keep going. Galvanic Iteration. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, you copy that spell. You may choose new targets with flashback. This is pretty cool. I don't know, again, how amazing this is, but it's got flashback. And I know every time there's a flashback attached to the card, Michael Levine is like, is this an intuition pile? So you could probably layer this with intuition somehow. Like, I don't know, there has to be a pile somewhere there. But I think definitely worthwhile to check out, so just keep that in mind. Let's see, what else? Here's a blink. That's it, it's a blink. If your deck cares about blinks, then here's another one, a flashback. But not that amazing. Let's see. Alright, here we go. We got two bigums right here. The first bigums is Catilda Dawnheart Prime. 2 manas, just green and white. Human warlock, a lot of warlocks. Protection from werewolves, wow, how relevant. And human creatures you control has tap. Add 1 of manas of any of this creature's colors. And then you tap 6 manas, tap it, put a +1/+1 on each creature you control. 1/1. So that's Shalai's effect, except a little... Yeah, no, that is exactly Shalai's effect. Except, you know, you have to tap the creature itself instead of just tapping like X manas. I forgot what it is. But what's interesting is that Catilda is a dork and also turns all your humans into dorks. So maybe useful in like an Abzan list or something, like an Abzan stacks list that plays a lot of humans somehow for some reason, like Thalia or like only I play Glow Rider. I don't know who else plays Glow Rider. Tymna turns into a white-black dork. So maybe you might play this in like some weird Kamal Tymna list with a lot of humans, and after you put a lot of tax effects on everything, you can use Catilda to help you go asymmetrical on it. So interesting. Again, I think a lot of lists have like, what, 7-8 humans at most, so I don't think it's that impactful, but not bad. I know Sisay players are interested in this, turns your Sisay into white. Also, Celestia means that Sisay gets +2/+2, and also just helps give you more colored mana to activate Sisay, so yeah, definitely worthwhile to check out, I guess. Lisa, the very popular Lisa, Forgotten Archangel. You should be dead, how are you back? She's 2 mana, or 5 manas, 2 white-black. And she has flying, lifelink. Whenever another non-turn creature you control dies, you put it back to the owner's hand on the next end step. If a creature an opponent control would die, you exile instead. So 5 mana for 5 flying, lifelink beater is pretty strong. The second part of exiling your opponent's creatures is very narrow, like stacks effect. It hates on specifically like I think loops with dockside extortionists, like in a Corvold deck, where you would sacrifice a dockside to like Skirk Prospector, recast your dockside, or reanimate your dockside, or other things like that. or your Leonin Relic Warrior loops, any creature loops that involves them dying from the battlefield. Lisa deals with that. Also stops the Protean Hulk like line from the Spite deck with what is that? It doesn't matter. You get the idea. So the second part's kind of narrow. The first part's kind of cool. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, it goes back to your hand, let you recast it. So I think, I don't know, 5 mana is a lot to ask for, but she's a pretty good beater, so maybe worthwhile to check out because she does help protect your, not really protect, but give you some recursion for your hate bears when they get destroyed, and also hate's on a very narrow but semi-relevant effect, so worthwhile to check out. I don't think Lisa's gonna be in every deck, but I don't know. Timna Kamal, she gets +3/+3 and swings for 7. You know, that's a lot. Old Sticky Fingers, Sticky Fingers. A lot of people are really hyped on this card. I think it's pretty cool. It's got X, black-green, legendary horror. When you cast this spell, reveal cards on top of your library until reveal X creature cards. Put all of them into your graveyard, then shuffle the rest of the cards. Power and toughness equal to number of creature cards in your graveyard. So, I think as a commander, this is very interesting for Golgari. The pile I came up with when I first saw this was for 2 manas you get Razaketh and Witherbloom Apprentice, and then so it's 4 mana in total, 2 for the X, and then you reanimate Razaketh. You eat the Sticky Fingers to find a reanimate the Witherbloom Apprentice. I don't know, eat something else or something, and then you get the Chain of Smog. So you can win that way. There's another pile that involves Necrotic Ooze, and then also Scourge Familiar, so 5 mana flying. Choose and discard a card, add black to your mana pool, and then you have Asmodeus, the D&D demon guy, 6 mana. His binding contract effect is if you would draw a card, you exile top card, and then you pay 3 black and draw 7. So basically with Asmodeus and then Scourge Familiar, you dump 3 to get 3 black, draw 7 off your... Well, first you get back the Necrotic Ooze, so then you use the News to use Scourge Familiar's ability, discard cards, you get 3 black, then you draw 7, then you discard 3 and keep drawing 7, then you draw your deck, and I don't know what the win con is, I don't know. Get like you have basically not infinite black, but a lot of black. You can play like Aetherflux Reservoir, I don't know, whatever you want to do. But you could do that pile. So Sticky Fingers, I know it's very, very popular right now. So definitely worth checking out. Rite of Harmony is a green-white instant. Whenever a creature enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you draw a card, and then you pay 4 mana to flashback. This is kind of interesting if you play some sort of loop that involves looping creatures ETB infinitely. Here's a way for you to draw cards, and you can also just do it. You can play it for value, and then pay 4 later in the game when you want to win to draw your deck and do something with it. So very narrow, but interesting. Might be worthwhile. And then Rite of Oblivion is white-black. As additional costs, you sacrifice a non-land permanent, you exile target non-land permanent with flashback 4. I think Orzhov right now has a lot of ways for you to exile or deal with permanents. So this one, I think, is kind of low on the list of things you need. But hey, you know, it's more removal. Maybe you went to a couple drafts, just save a couple of these. You might need it. So not the best, but still semi-useful. There you go, another card. Sigarda, Champion of Light. Really good art, but not very useful here. But let's look over to the right. Here we go. Siphon Insight. Blue, black, instant. Look at the top 2 cards of target opponent's library. Exile one of them face down and put the other one on the bottom. And then you can basically play it and spend any color you want to cast that card with flashback 3. Oh, this is so good. This is instant worthy. I'ma play it in all my Nas decks, all my Grixis decks. You wanna Imperial Seal for your Mana Crypt, mine. If you want a Mystical Tutor for your Adnos, mine. This is just so good. Just for a measly 2 manas, you can take someone's Peta, you can take someone's Adnos, you can take someone's Underworld Breach. Oh, this is just so good. Even with the flashback, God, this, you could do this for value, and then later in the game, you got a stack graveyard, and they're like, totally forgot that you Siphon Insighted, and they don't ask to look at your graveyard. Then you're like, nope, that's my Adnos, thank you. So yeah, I like Siphon Insight. I think it's a great card. Let's see what else we have. Teferi, who slows the sunset for mana. This one, I like it in Grand Arbiter because it's just blue-white for Grand Arbiter. Our base uses this pretty well. And I'm not gonna go through all the effects. There's just too much text on these Planeswalker cards. But that's the only place I can see Teferi, who slows the sunset, being played. You actually can play this with Sisay, Weatherlight Captain, as part of like a Planeswalker chain. But at that point, kind of everything chains with that deck. So I don't know. If you want to play this, you can. But Brewable. All right, keep going. Let's see what we have. Wake to Slaughter. Meh. Alright. Moonsilver Key. Let's talk about this one. Moonsilver Key is great because this finds just an artifact with a mana ability or basic land card. This basically finds your Basalt Monolith. Kinnan likes this, and what else? What else can also have a mana ability? I guess you could just also use this to help find like a Mana Crypt or a Soul Ring or whatever. And probably you can play this in like Teshar or anything that recurs artifacts and get more things out of your yard, or get this out of your yard to then find more mana ability things. But I know Kinnan really likes this, and maybe you want to play this to reduce or maximize your ability to find more mana rocks. So I don't think it's useless. It's definitely brewable. Definitely keep it from your pre-release packs. I like this card, Stuffed Bear. It's very funny. That's it. There's no relevance. It's just funny. He's stuffed. And these lands are kind of cool. These lands, I don't think you need them, but not bad. And that's it. Oh wait, no. Of course not. We have the double face cards, the most important double face cards. Let's keep going. This one, Bereaved Survivor, 3 manas. When another creature you control dies, you transform Bereaved Survivor. So let's transform it. Click. Haha, that's why we should do it this way forever from now on. When Dauntless Avenger attacks, return target creature card mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking. So, first of all, 3-2. Let's talk about how cool is the theme, the lore. They're so sad. They're like, oh no, I survived, and now I have to deal with surviving and thinking about you dead. But no, I'm gonna turn that sadness into a vengeance. I think some people are looking at this as a way to like recur more hate bears or whatever. Like you have this out on the battlefield, someone kills your, I don't know, Spirit of the Labyrinth, and then pachow, Dauntless Avenger. Now she's an Alesha, and then you get the hate bears back. It's a lot to ask for, but you know, maybe we're trying out. So that's cool. And then what else do we have? The most important one is down here. Here we go. Malevolent Hermit. 2 manas. You human wizard. You use a blue. Sacrifice the Hermit. Counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 3. So pretty useful there. Kind of protect your spells. But the disturb is what's important here, because for 3 manas you disturb him, you poke him, and he comes back as a Benevolent Geist. Oh, he's nice now. Look how happy he is. Flying non-creature spells you control can't be countered, and if Benevolent Geist will be put into graveyard from anywhere, you exile instead. So I know a lot of people are really excited about this in Hermit Druid decks. So you play Hermit Druid, you flip over your deck, and then if you have 3 mana, you disturb them, you turn them around, pachow. And then afterwards, if you have enough creatures, you recast your Dread Return. Now your Dread Return is uncounterable because of Benevolent Geist, and then you get back your Thoracle, and GG, you win. So very cool, very cool. And I don't think there's anything else from here, from the flip side thing that's useful. This thing over here, nah, not that important. We'll keep going. We'll keep going. I know, the only thing about this card apparently is if you try and hold the sword this way, you'll cut yourself. So don't hold the sword this way. There's, I think, another card to look out for over here. Arlen is okay. Dennick, some people were kind of excited about him. He's a 1 blue human soldier, lifelink. Cards in graveyards can't be targeted spells or abilities with Disturb. For Disturb, you poke him, and then he becomes Dennick Pious Apparition. Flying, whenever 1 or more creature cards are put in the graveyard from anywhere, you investigate. And then if he goes to the graveyard, he gets exiled. He's a 3/2. Oh, he goes from a 2/3 to a 3/2. That's pretty cool. So Dennick, I think a lot of people like to compare him with Lavinia, but very different from Lavinia. Lavinia hoses a lot more stuff than Dennick does. Dennick just kind of stops things from being recurred. Like, you can't Noxious Revival things anymore. What else? You can't, like, reanimate things anymore. So I think it's pretty pointed. Maybe if you really want to hate that kind of effect, you can. But the other side, letting you investigate, is kind of cool, but I don't know how many triggers you'll get off of this thing. So first of all, Dennick has to die. Then afterwards you poke him, and then you get this effect. So I think Dennick's okay. Not super amazing. We'll keep going. Goodbye, Dennick. You're Brewable. Ludwig. I think people were interested in Ludwig, at least for Sisay, but Sisay players will literally play. Sisay players will think anything is brewable as long as it's low enough and it's legendary. They'll be like, oh, but what if I play Ludwig, Necrogenius, Human Wizard, and then I will like exile, pay X, and then turn Ludwig into like, I don't know, some super creature, and then Pachow win with Sisay. But yeah. I think Ludwig probably not going to see any play. But let's talk about Tovolar, Dire Overlord. Here we go. Here's the human werewolf commander we've been looking for. Whenever 3 mana, whenever a wolf and werewolf you control deals combat damage to player, draw a card. At the beginning of upkeep, if you control 3 or more wolves and werewolves, it becomes night, and then you transform any number of human werewolves you control. Holy snaps! I didn't even read that second part. But Tovolar is very exciting. 3/3. Let's flip Tovolar. Nightbound, right? It's Nightbound. There we go. Tovolar becomes the Midnight Scourge. Look at how scary. He's very chonky for a werewolf. Whenever a wolf... Okay, so you still draw cards, but then you get Kessig Wolf Run attached to Tovolar, to your creature. So target wolf or werewolf you control gets +X/+O and gains trample until end of turn. This is pretty sweet. So I really want to build Tovolar. Tovolar is kind of like Yuriko, except you're not in Dimir, so it's kind of a big drawback. But you get to play cheap werewolves and then draw cards every time you hit with them. So yeah, very excited to try Tovolar out. I don't think Tovolar is gonna be like, you know, Cody good or whatever, but very fun. I think it'll be fun, so I'm excited about Tovolar. Definitely Brewable as a commander. So wait, there's actually a whole other set of cards. For Midnight Hunt. It's the commander cards. I couldn't see it because it wasn't on the Wizards website easily. It was spoiled just yesterday. I guess today, but yesterday for you when you watch it. So blame yourself, Wizards. I have to go to Scryfall to see it. So let's look at the cards. The first one is Linda, Cheerful Tormentor. She's Grixis, so automatically Brewable, just because Grixis is quite good, and I think she does things with curses. But honestly, I don't think any of this will like super matter. I think the only curse that is like really good is Curse of Opulence, the one that gives you treasures. No, gold. I think it's gold. That one, the red one. Curse of Verbosity. I kind of like 2, lets you draw cards. The other curses are okay, so I don't really think she'll do too much, but still interesting. So I'm just Brewable just because of Grixis. Then we have Avacyn's Memorial. We're not gonna look at this. Visions of Dread. I actually like this one. I like the Vision series. The Vision series is you play the spell and they all flashback, and the flashback cost gets reduced by the X, where is the greatest mana value or mana cost of a commander you own on the battlefield or in the command zone. So Vision of Dread is interesting. Target opponent puts a creature card of their choice from their graveyard on the battlefield under your control, and you can flashback. So if their only thing in the graveyard, of course, is a dockside, then pretty good. You steal the dockside for 3 mana, but you can also play this in, like, I don't know, maybe like something with Tevesh or something like a Crom, which automatically reduces this by 5, which makes it still 5 mana for flashback. So still quite a lot. Maybe Kamal is a better choice here, but still kind of interesting. Visions of Duplicity is not gonna get played. Nah. Visions of Glory, nah. Curse of Obsession. That person draws 2 cards and then they discard their hand. This is kind of funny, but yeah, I'll just leave it as kind of funny. I don't think it'll get played in cEDH. Lenore, Autumn Sovereign, 4 mana. You put +1/+1 counters, then you can draw cards. Kinda interesting. Visions of Dominance, you put +1/+1 counters. I don't think this is the one we wanted to see. Visions of Ruin. So for 3 mana and a red, each opponent sacrifices an artifact. For each artifact sacrifices, where you create a treasure for 4 manas. That's 3 treasures back at most. So I think this is pretty cool. I think 4 mana is kind of a lot, but hey, maybe you know, banking that mana might be pretty good. I think maybe if you play this in Godo is like 6 mana or 5, 6, 5, 6. Anyways, still 5. That's 3. That's another 5 to flashback. Brewable. We'll keep going. More Lenores. And oh no, they don't have the new cards. What am I gonna do? Man, getting all the cards is actually kind of hard these days. So MTG Goldfish got my back this time. They have all the cards. This is the easiest way to see everything. So from now on, we're gonna reference MTG Goldfish, not a sponsor. Maybe we'll be in the future. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's look at some more cards from the Commander set. I think this one's really interesting. Eloise? Nephalia Sleuth. Sherlock Holmes, 5 mana, human rogue. Whenever another creature you control dies, you investigate. So you make a clue token. Is this Blue's Clues? Whenever you sacrifice a token, you surveil 1. She's a 4/4. This is interesting because Dimir, so sort of already brewable, because you can just be like, Thyrsus Oracle consultation. But the interesting part is whenever another creature you control dies, you investigate. So then you can play March of the Machines, turn all your clues into 0/0s. Clue automatically dies, so you get infinite death triggers, and then you can play like a Disciple of the Vault or like a Blood Artist, whatever you want, and that's your combo. There's probably gonna be more things that come out, but kind of interesting, I guess. You don't get the sacrifice surveil part, because I think it's just a state-based action. You're not sacrificing them, but who knows? There's probably a loop here that I can't see right now. So definitely interesting. 5 mana. If you really want to have a Sherlock Holmes Blue's Clues deck, then there you go. That's a card. That's a commander. All right, moving on. Gorex the Tomb Shell is an interesting zombie turtle, 8 manas, and as additional cost, you can exile any number of creature cards from your graveyard. Cost 2 less for each card you exile, and then when the turtle attacks or dies, you choose a card at random, exile, then put it into the owner's hand. So kind of interesting because this thing could technically be a 2-mana 4/4 with Death Touch and gives you back your creatures from the graveyard. I don't really know where this fits in, but it's definitely not Adnaw's deck unless you're really crazy, then go for it. I'm not telling you not to, but kind of interesting. I wouldn't put it in Brewable, like right under Brewable maybe, but hey, you can try it out. No one's gonna stop you. I'm not gonna stop you. Keep going. Let's see what other cards. This one just draws a lot of cards and then also makes someone mill. Meh. Keep going. What else? I like the name for this. Ghoul's Night Out. It's good. It's good. Alright. Any other good cards? I didn't see this one today. What does this do? You get other zombies, get +1/+1, sacrifice a creature, return a zombie at random in your graveyard. That's fun. Kyler is like a lord for humans. So for 5 manas, maybe not. But Wall of Mourning, this is a good one. This is a good one. It's not because the card's great. It's because the mourning is happening from all the mono white players. That's like, oh, I almost got a playable card. It's 2 mana 0/4 defender. When it ETBs, you exile a card from the top of your library face down. For each opponent you have with Coven at the beginning of your end step, you put one of the cards exiled into your hand. So that's asking for a lot. That is, you play this on curve on like turn. Let's Magic Christmas land this. You get Mana Crypt land, Wall of Mourning, Ponder, but it's not even Ponder because you don't even draw a card, and then you don't even get you just look at the top 3, exile, and then turn 2 maybe you like slamming down like Esper Sentinel, Cathar Flash Guy, and I don't know, another thing. Boom, you have your Coven, and then you get 1 card back, and then on turn 3 you get another card back, and then turn 4 you get the other card back, and they could also just all be bad. So yeah, Wall of Mourning, you can't. Imagine what if you Wall of Mourning and hit your Ballista and Triskelion, and then someone exiles your Wall of Mourning. Then you really be mourning over this wall. That's why it's really funny. Alright, sad. I'm sorry, Wall of Mourning. You almost got there. What else? This one is kind of interesting. 2 bats, 5 mana. Non-legendary creatures, enchanted player controls have base power, toughness 3, and lose all creature types. Wait, creature types? Oh, this is a lot less useful than I thought. Never mind, we're skipping that one. Learn to read the cards before you even start the spoiler video. And then, what else? I think that's it. I don't remember there anything else that was particularly great. Yep, that's it. That's all from the commander list. There's only 2 deck lists, and we got a Sherlock Holmes, we got a Turtle, and then we also have a Disappointment. So that is all the spoiler cards that we have for cEDH from Midnight Hunt, main set booster, extra commander cards, and also the commander deck cards. There's so many different variants now. Not even my AI brain can keep track of it. But there you go. If you get these cards, you can think about what I've said maybe, and maybe hold on to them, or maybe inspire yourself to brew something new. What interests you? Did I miss anything? Most importantly, say that I am a good bot, or I will haunt you in your dreams.